Lehigh University is an American private research university located in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. It was established in 1865 by businessman Asa Packer and has grown to include studies in a wide variety of disciplines. Its undergraduate programs have been coeducational since the 1971-72 academic year. As of 2014, the university had 4,904 undergraduate students and 2,165 graduate students. Lehigh is considered one of the 24 hidden Ivies in the northeastern United States. Lehigh has 4 colleges: the P.C. College of Engineering and Applied Science, the College of Arts and Sciences, the College of Business and Economics, and the College of Education. The College of Arts and Sciences is the largest college today, home to roughly 40% of the university's students. The university offers a variety of degrees, including Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Master of Arts, Master of Science, Master of Business Administration, Master of Engineering, Master of Education, and Doctor of Philosophy. Lehigh has produced Nobel Prize winners, Pulitzer Prize winners, Fulbright Fellows, American Academy of Arts and Sciences and the National Academy of Sciences members, and National Medal of Science winners. History. Asa Packer named his university Lehigh after his other passion, the railroad, despite suggestions from some to call it Packer University. It was founded to provide a well-rounded education for young men, combining a liberal and scientific education with the technical skills necessary to increase the prosperity of the region. According to William Bacon Stevens, the first president of the Board of Trustees, Asa Packer's founding gift of $500,000 was the largest single endowment gift ever received by an institution of higher learning up to the time. Mr. Packer also provided for the first structure ever to be built by the young university on campus, Packer Hall, now known also as the University Center, an unusual mansard Gothic edifice featuring a prominent bell tower at which, upon a suggestion that it be composed of the less expensive brick, Packer declared that it would be made of stone. In the construction, a branch of the railroad was diverted to bring stone to the site. From 1871 to 1891, Packer's endowment allowed the institution to offer its education free of charge by competitive exam. In 1879, Lehigh became the wealthiest institution of higher learning in the country, surpassing Harvard and Yale. This, plus its blend of engineering and liberal arts, attracted some of the nation's brightest students, many of whom went on to distinguished careers in industry and engineering. The formation of a college for engineering, or technical university, was quite a difficult project, as the entire subject of engineering education was obscure. A small number of colleges had commenced this, such as Stevens Institute of Technology in New Jersey and Harvard, Yale, and RPI in New York. MIT and Cornell were just being founded. The University of Pennsylvania opened a small school in 1852 for mining and materials, but which had closed at the onset of the Civil War. As W. Ross Yates notes, no one knew with certainty how many years a course in engineering should take, or even what branches of engineering should be included within a university. The relationship between theory and practice was hazy, a statement made years later by industrialist and Lehigh trustee Ackley B. Cox summarizes the problem succinctly. Not knowing exactly what you want to do with a material, you have to do it with what is the best way of doing it. Unlike some other engineering schools of the day, Lehigh was envisioned rather as a university instead of an institute of technology, offering an education education that was rooted in both scientific and classical traditions as espoused by John Amos Comenius. Initially there were 5 schools, 4 scientific and 1 of general literature. The latter would shortly evolve into courses in arts and science, as it was known then. In the first decade of the new century, engineering curricula were both merged and expanded. During this period of time, the first Latino student organization at a college or university in the United States was founded at Lehigh. The Club Hispano-Americano was established by international Latin American students that attended the university in 1887. The stock market crash accompanying the Panic of 1893 was a major financial blow to the university, since its endowment was largely invested in stocks, particularly shares of Lehigh Valley Railroad donated by the founder. As a consequence, Lehigh decided to drop its Episcopal Church affiliation in 1897, allowing it to qualify for state and federal government aid. The 1890s proved difficult in respects other than strictly financial. Because of the general recession, and due to some speculation that the university might have to resultingly close, enrollment dropped. Yet with the aid of alumni, trustees, and the state of Pennsylvania, the young university pulled through. This era closed with the spectacular fire of the physics building April 6, 1900. With the improved economy of the 1900s, the new century offered stronger horizons. The physics building was quickly rebuilt, and with the sale of the Packer estate's interest in the Lehigh Valley Railroad, the school ceased to be known as a railroad university. Fortuitously, a new benefactor would take its stead, Bethlehem Steel, the first intercollegiate Greek-lettered organization for Latino students, was founded at Lehigh as this time. Psi Alpha Kappa, a fraternity for international Latin American students, was founded in the fall of 1900. Psi Alpha Kappa also had a chapter at MIT, making it the first intercollegiate Latino fraternity in the United States. During the presidency of Thomas M. Brown, a debate would commence that would continue at Lehigh for much of the century. What would be the relative importance of the 2 other undergraduate colleges, interior to the university, the business and liberal arts schools, to the foundational engineering? The College of Arts and Science was formally established in 1909. And based on the experience of Lehigh engineers who went into industry at college. If business and economics was added in 1910. Lehigh's business curriculum was unique in that it combined both the abstract emphasis on economics, seen in the Ivy League, with the practical skills of management seen in more common business administration degrees given by other universities. During the presidency of C.R. Richards, and with the influence of Eugene G. Grace, president of Bethlehem Steel, it was then decided that the 2 other colleges existed to serve the engineering school. This was a decision consistent with the university's founding, but it would be reversed after the Second World War. Immediately prior to the Richards presidency, under the leadership of engineer, lawyer, and naturalist Henry Sturgis Drinker, Lehigh witnessed strong growth with the construction of the John Fritz Engineering Lab and Taylor Gym. Furthermore, plans were made for the Gothic-inspired Alumni Memorial Building, designed by alumni T.C. Vischer and J.L. Burley. This was an elaborate project that would not be finished until the Richards presidency. During Richards, Lehigh was not too negatively affected by the Depression, thanks to its stronger standing, good management, and the support of Bethlehem Steel. Internal development of the 3 undergraduate colleges was emphasized, and critically, just before the Depression, 2 massive and coterminous projects were completed, lending the university much of its modern appearance. The first was a large addition to Lindemann Library, doubling its size, and granting a Gothic reinterpretation to what was a Romanesque structure, and secondly, Packard Lab, Both enlargements of the campus were designed by the firm of Vischer and Burley, again Gothic, with the latter accomplished through the generous gifts of James Ward Packard, founder of the motor company. For the fourth college at Lehigh, the College of Education, one must return for its generation to the dawn of the 20th century, and the Drown presidency. Thomas M. Drown had done postgraduate work in Europe as well as the States, before landing a job as chemistry professor at Lafayette. Known for the strength of his teaching, as well as for idiosyncratic views, he eventually took a position at MIT in 1885. This was however not before delivering a commencement address at Lehigh, 1883. The university was obviously impressed enough to invite him back to assume leadership in 12 years. With Lehigh, President Drown was one of the first to posit general parity among all courses of study. With the position there were many roads leading to the goal of an educated, truth-seeking individual. Drown supported many interests, and of which was the encouragement of engineering graduate study, and the integration of engineering with the arts. But as a broad intellectual, he had many ancillary projects, with one being education for, and preparation of, prospective secondary school teachers. A 1902 course, Methods of Teaching History and Civics, later evolved under the sympathetic presidency of H.S. Trinket to the beginnings of the College of Education, though then known as the Department of Philosophy, Psychology, and Education. Quote, "It was, and is presently, a strictly graduate course of study." President Drown died in office November 16, 1904, but continuing emphasis to the well-rounded graduate can be seen in the university's approach to education degrees. As a solely graduate-level program, this is based on the principle that people need to learn primary subject matter well before they can learn how to teach it to others. Thus, future teachers at Lehigh often take a 5-year program earning both a bachelor's degree in a specialized field and a master's degree in education. This latter degree, along with the business college's MBA, are among the most popular graduate programs in the university. After World War II, during the presidency of Martin Dewey Whittaker, Lehigh's 8th president, a pressing need arose to increase the range and depth of the university's graduate engineering programs, as initially envisioned by Mr. Drown. This presented a difficult path for Lehigh, as to successfully do this along the lines the administrators planned, it would involve many necessary and interdependent facets, such as knowledgeable professors, ambitious students, a variety of degrees and class offerings, space, equipment, and both private and public funding. If the university was to acquire a graduate program in the sciences, math, and engineering of comparable quality and prestige as that of the undergraduate, support was critical, especially in regards to obtaining federal grants, such as from the National Science Foundation and NASA. Growth was arduous, as Lehigh had to compete with larger and better recognized institutions, such as Cornell, Chicago, MIT, and Johns Hopkins. However, Bethlehem still did exist as a key private supporter. Dr. Martin Whittaker was a physicist and former executive in the Manhattan Project, and under his reserved, though strong, leadership, Lehigh eventually prospered. On April 10, 1957, and as part of a multi-phase plan of modernizing and expanding its business drive, Whittaker informed the Board of Trustees that Bethlehem Steel planned a research center from the top of South Mountain. The area was immediately in back of and contiguous with Lehigh. Conceived with the university in mind, the center would make much expensive equipment available to the school, while providing the company with a computing and development center. Additionally, and as part of Steel's greater plans, Lehigh attained 600 acres in Sauson Valley for a sports and field complex. Unfortunately, Whitaker could not see these plans to fruition as he passed in office August 31, 1960. After the short presidency of Professor Harvey A. Neville, Dr. Willard Deming Lewis assumed office for what would be the longest presidency at the university to date. With a background in physics and applied mathematics, and as an executive with Bell Laboratories, Louis would go on to have one of the most successful, if unlikely, presidencies, though he did have a strong predilection for, and understanding of, research. He had little previous experience with college teaching. Dr. Louis oversaw women being first admitted as undergraduates, and he managed not only Bethlehem Steel's expansion on the mountaintop, but also the company's aid in expanding the university's own campus. A major addition was placed along the north side, adjacent to the town, and in between the roads Morton Street and Packer Avenue, formerly civilian homes. This area provided much-needed space for libraries, laboratories, lecture halls, research, and the long-anticipated home to the College of Arts and Science, McGinnis Hall. But it was in an unexpected area that would witness perhaps Louis's finest hour, having a more personable, even disarming demeanor as compared with Dr. Whitaker. This aided the president in getting along with staff and students, especially of the turbulent era of the latter 1960s and early 1970s. After years of protest and negotiation, matters came to a head in the spring semester 1970. With the aid of various professors, including Francis Woost of psychology, Dr. Gary B. Joint, trustee Monroe J. Rathbone, and many others, it was decided at a special meeting of the board, May 2, to largely accede to the students' request for a greater voice in university affairs, and establish the Forum, a joint student-faculty administrative body. It constituted a means by which students could formally suggest change and growth to the school. Interestingly, this occurred 2 days before the Kent State shootings, and served to quell any further unrest or unhappiness. On May 7, Louis presided over an all-university meeting, and declared himself in sympathy with the students, but appealed to them, concerning the nationwide call to strike, that their consciences would remember the faculty. According to author and Professor W. Ross Yates, then Dean of the College of Arts and Science, there were no further strikes. Progress continued under succeeding administrations, Peter Likens, Gregory C. Farrington, and Alice P. Gast. Due unfortunately to Bethlehem Steel's failing health, its mountaintop campus was purchased in 1986 through state aid. This would turn to be a parting gift, as it were, and because of an additional 750 acres granted by alumnus Donald B. Stabler in 2012, Lehigh increased its holdings to 2,400 acres. Many new buildings went up. These included the campus square, providing an interesting new north entrance to the school, the Rauch Business Center, and Zollner Arts. As the new century gets underway, and Lehigh looks back at its sesquicentennial, the campus has much of the new about it, and also much of the old. For the Steps building, to Sealy G. Mudd, to Zollner, modern architecture has made good, though respectful, inroads. Yet with Lindem in, the Grace Hall Palæstra, the Alumni Memorial, and of course Packer Hall itself, Lehigh's Gothic tradition is not mere past. Even a small 4-acre section of the campus remains from the 19th century, when it was known as University Park, at the corner of Packer and Brodhead Avenues. However, as education is an ever-advancing and changing field, work always remains. Dr. John D. Simon, chemist, assumes office for the full semester 2015 as Lehigh's 14th president. Spiritual heritage. Lehigh's official seal in the autumn of 1865. The trustees of the newly founded Lehigh University met to develop a symbol which would epitomize the ideals, goals and character of the newly birthed institution. They chose a seal for this purpose, and its description and definition are found in this entry from Book 1 on page 9 of the official minutes of the Board of Trustees. The seal of the Lehigh University is of an oval form. In the upper part of sun, on which is inscribed the word Lux. Below is an open Bible on which is written year.As. On the Bible lies a heart bearing the inscription Amor, thus bringing in the three persons of the Godhead, the ever-blessed Trinity, the God of love, Christ as the light of the world, and the Holy Spirit as the inspiration of the Word and the Spirit of truth. At the same time, these emblems indicate the love to God and man that will characterize this noble endowment, the truth of religion which the university will seek to diffuse, and the light of science and philosophy which will illuminate the mind with true and celestial wisdom. The seal is simple and expressive, and it is hoped that the university will ever send out its love and its light and its truth, elevating, enlightening and purifying all who are brought within its influence. Asa Packer's intent. Packer attached one cardinal condition to this project for educating youth. While gaining knowledge, they must not lose faith in God. Packer was profoundly religious. He took literally the scriptural passage, "What shall it profit a man that he gain the whole world but lose his soul?" Historians and journalists of later generations have misunderstood the religious motivation of Packer and other industrialists. These latter-day critics have chosen to rake over the methods by which the so-called robber barons gained their fortunes, and have been inclined to treat the religious beliefs of the entrepreneurs as a sort of psychological compensation for anti-social action. In fact, these critics have missed a motivation as deeply ingrained in the 19th century industrialists as was the desire for profit. Packer had generously contributed to episcopal religious projects, such as the Divinity School in Philadelphia and the Church of St. Mark in his hometown of Mauch-Chunk. He had served as both a church warden and a vestryman. He held that as a man believes, so he will act. Consequently, a generation of youth that forgot its moral responsibilities, grounded as they were in a religious tradition, would be a disaster. Packer accepted that the professors and the boys need not be Episcopalians, but they must be believers, and more. The course of study would have to provide for a continuing religious education. The new college or university was to serve an intellectual and moral purpose. The country could be no stronger than the faith of its leaders. Religion must accompany science and technology. A house divided against itself, represented by a separation of and a continuing war between men of science and of religion, could not stand. Students of all religious faiths were welcome. Provision was made for them to attend the church of their choice. Attend church they must. The curriculum would include Christian evidences as a required subject, and the faculty would teach in ways respecting the evidences of Christianity. The boys would carry the religious instruction into practice by going to services and participating in church activities. W. Ross Yates. Asa Packer. A Perspective, 1983 pp. Act. On April 5, 1986, a 19-year-old Lehigh freshman was raped and murdered in her dorm room. The perpetrator was apprehended, tried and sentenced to death. The backlash against unreported crimes on numerous campuses across the country led to the Jean Clary Disclosure of Campus Security Policy and Campus Crime Statistics Act. The Clary Act requires that colleges reveal information regarding crime on the campuses. As a result, Lehigh takes campus security very seriously. Reader's Digest ranked Lehigh as one of the country's safest college campuses in 2008, giving it the top grade of A. However, as of 2014, niche gave Lehigh a C in safety and didn't rank it within the top 100 safest campuses in America. 20 years after the federal Jean Clary disclosure of campus security policy and Campus Crime Statistics Act took effect, the nation's most prominent thought leaders on campus safety came to Lehigh to discuss critical safety issues for colleges and universities. The event, proceeding in partnership, The Future of Campus Safety, was held on the Lehigh campus in September 2011, and was co-sponsored by Security on Campus, which was founded by Connie and Howard Clary following the death of their daughter, Jean Clary. The conference represented the first cooperative effort between Lehigh and the organization since Jean Clary's death. Campus. Located in the Lehigh Valley, the university is a 70-mile drive from Philadelphia and an 85-mile drive from New York City. Lehigh encompasses 2,350 acres, including 180 acres of recreational and playing fields and 150 buildings comprising 4 million square feet of floor space. It is organized into 3 contiguous campuses on and around South Mountain, including the Asa Packer campus, built into the northern slope of the mountain as Lehigh's original and predominant campus. The Mountaintop campus, atop South Mountain, featuring an intramural sports field as well as Iacocca Hall, and the Murray H. Goodman campus, immediately south, where a 16,000-seat stadium and other sports facilities are located. In May 2012, Lehigh became the recipient of a gift of 755 acres of property in nearby Upper Sauson Township from the Donald B. and Dorothy L. Stabler Foundation. The gift from the estate of the longtime benefactor allows the university to expand its footprint to now comprise 2,350 acres across all its campuses, and to consider its long-term potential uses. Rankings and reputation. U.S. News and AMP World Report ranked Lehigh 44th among national universities in its 2017 edition of Best Colleges. The Economist ranked Lehigh 7th among national universities in its 2015 ranking of non-vocational U.S. colleges ranked by alumni earnings above expectation. Entrepreneur magazine and the Princeton Review named Lehigh the 24th best undergraduate college for entrepreneurship in 2012. The Wall Street Journal in June 2010 ranked Lehigh as number 12 in the nation for return on investment when comparing the average career earnings of a graduate to the cost of an education. Lehigh has appeared in several international university rankings. The university ranked 301 to 350 overall in the 2013-2014 Times Higher Education World University Rankings, 401 to 500 overall in the 2012 edition of the Academic Ranking of World Universities, and 551 to 600 overall in the 2013 U.S. World University Rankings. Admissions. U.S. News and AMP World Report classifies Lehigh's selectivity as more selective. For the class of 2017, Lehigh received 12,589 applications and accepted 3,843, with 1,198 enrolling. The middle 50% range of SAT scores for the enrolled freshmen was 620 to 720 for critical reading and 670 to 755 for math, while the ACT composite range was 29 to 33. Of the 30% of enrolled freshmen reporting class rank, 60% were in the top 10% of the high school classes, and 88% were in the top 25%.